I am just furious. It's 9:20 in the morning on Monday.
Whoever is doing whatever can go straight to hell.
Call me back now or see me in face, and trust me, you won't want that.
Hey, welcome everybody to the HOA Show. I am the host, Jason Hurst, and joining me on the show today, Kelsey Marin.
Hello.
Brian Evans is here.
Heyo.
And Mary Ann.
Hi there.
All right, we're going to get to some introductions here in just a minute, but first question is asked, why the HOA Show? Well, so here's the deal. By now, just about everybody has either lived in an HOA, they've heard the stories about an HOA, they've had to deal with an HOA somehow or other, and so we thought it'd be a great idea to get a bunch of people together who have experience with HOAs, especially property management type things, and sort of lay some knowledge on you, help you navigate through all of the things you're dealing with an HOA. I mean, you've got CC&Rs, you've got boards you're dealing with, you got annual meetings. What does all this stuff mean, and how do you deal with it all? And so we figured we'd, just sit here and try and lay some knowledge on you, but it's also going to happen in a very entertaining way because over the years, we've gained so many voicemails, emails, notes, you name it, and some of it is just absolutely crazy, but it's going to be a ton of fun, so we're just going to, kick back, have fun, chat about HOAs. Let's start with some introductions. Kelsey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I would love to. I have been an HOA property manager for quite a few years now. I'm also a realtor, and I have lived in homeowner associations and been on the board of a couple of them.
Nice. Brian, what about you?
Served as an HOA board president for 3 years for a homeowners association that my wife and I lived in, and then started a property management company that manages homeowners associations. Been doing that for 13 years now.
So you're just a glutton for punishment then, basically.
I love it.
Yeah. I'll bet.
Yeah, I don't like sleep. I love Diet Coke, and this job is about a 24/7 job.
Sweet. Nice. Mary, what about you?
I am a realtor. I've lived in a few HOAs, sold a lot of HOA properties, and have managed HOAs and dealt with board members and residents and been yelled at a time or two for towing violations.
Cool. And for me, I've lived in an HOA for probably 20 plus years now. I've been on various boards. I've been the president of a board, and less importantly, but maybe the reason why I'm the one that's sitting here talking, I've been in and out of radio for about 20 years now. So I got a lot of hot air to spit out on you. Spit? Whatever. Anyway, to breathe on you. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. See, now you know that my brain sometimes just flies away from me. Anyway, all right, so let's just launch straight into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is one of everybody's favorite things when it comes to HOAs, violations. Brian, tell us what are some of the violations you guys see all the time?
I think most common violations would be dog mess, noise, parking, landscaping not maintained, vehicles in disrepair. Those are probably, I'd say, the main ones that we end up seeing. I mean, there's a whole bunch of violations that you can receive a fine for or a notice for from your homeowners association, but I'd say those are the main ones that we see a lot of.
Okay, and generally, where are you going to find a list of all these violations in your community?
So all the rules should be posted somewhere. Rules and regulations, covenants, conditions, restrictions. There's a lot of legal documents that go into a homeowners association. We always recommend that people look at those rules before they're buying in a homeowners association, before they move into a rental property in a homeowners association. Like I said, they should be recorded somewhere, and you can look those up. Ask your manager, ask your landlord for those.
Okay, and as a property manager, you guys, it's your responsibility to sort of enforce those rules and send out fines if the HOA board tells you to do so. Is that right, Kelsey?
Oh, yeah. We definitely wear a lot of different hats, and this is one of the hats that we wear that's not so fun, is policing everybody's lovely violations that they tend to do.
Sweet. All right, and so I bet because you've been at this for a while, you've got some stories that you can lay on us, right?
For sure.
Okay. Who wants to go first? Give us a story.
I'll go. I manage an HOA, and it has a very hard rule of no smoking in the community at all. You cannot smoke in your house, in your backyard, in the streets, anywhere. You need to leave the property. We had someone move into the property. They were made aware of all of these rules because we have very diligent board members who go to their houses, knock on their doors, give them copies of the rules, CC&R, so they were aware that this was an item. The neighbors on either side of this new homeowner both reached out to me with 45 accounts, dated and timed, in 2 days of 45? This woman smoking.
In 2 days?
2 days.
Pack and a half a day.
Oh yeah,
And because
she was going on them.
and because of the COVID, they were just sitting in their house. They had nowhere to go, so just it's like they're in prison marking the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So both of these neighbors it was coming into their houses. One of them has horrible asthma, and so it was really affecting her. So she wanted to get this taken care of as soon as possible. So we started sending her some notices on it. And because we had so many accounts, it was rather easy to do so. We also had several pictures and other items of her. She called into me and was very upset that how dare I target her and how dare I do this to her and put this on her because it's not her. She is not smoking and we have the wrong person. And when I brought it to the board and I explained the situation and everything that she had brought to me, they said, absolutely not. We know it's her. We have all of the pictures, all of the proof. We know it's her. We're not removing any of the fines. And so I call her back, let her know, and she's obviously very upset and continues on her way. This continues on for a little while, and I continually get more accounts, more pictures. We keep sending notices. She keeps asking me to send these to the board, which is my obligation to do so if a homeowner asked, to see if they are willing to waive any of the fines, because she says it is not her. One of my board members happened to live across the street from this unit.
Yeah.
And she got so fed up with dealing with this woman that she walked over, knocked on her door. When this woman answered the door, she had a cigarette in her hand. My board member pulled out her phone, took a picture of her smoking, and said, "We know it's you. We're not waiving the fines," and left. We have recently seen her other places around the property, such as sitting next to a fence in a pile of leaves that are still waiting to be cleaned up, smoking. Still refuses to leave the property, but we've
trying
at
to
least
camouflage
made it.
herself. Is that what she's
She
doing?
has to
she's
be
burying herself in a pile of leaves to try and camouflage
She
herself.
has to be. Still refuses to leave the property, so we still keep sending notices. So.
Has she admitted that it was actually her smoking yet?
No, we think that she was just holding it for a friend.
Oh, that must have been it.
That's what we're going with here for her. But
That's always been my excuse in the past. I'm just holding it for a friend. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's in the bathroom. Yeah, right.
I used to go to the bathroom a lot.
Yeah, well, some people have small bladders. What can I say? That reminds me of that old Shaggy song. Wasn't me. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
But it was.
I hate to tell ya. Oh, that's sweet. All right.
So how much is the fine for smoking there?
So I believe it starts at $50 and then it goes to $100 every occurrence after that.
Wow. What's she up to? Do you know?
I want to say she's mid 400-ish.
Nice.
So we're reaching our limit on how much we can assess in a month. So after we hit that limit, we're just kind of out of options for this month, and we'll continue on next month.
So free cigarettes then or free smoking fines for the rest of the month?
Yes, she will. Still receive notices, just no fines.
Just no fines for the rest of the month. I want to go to the neighbor's house and knock on their door and see how many marks they have on the wall now,
Seriously.
How long is this prison sentence running? There you go.
So I had a fun one last week. I almost got into a fight.
What?
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
at a property.
It's your fault for being a big guy.
I know. I'm
you're
so
very
confrontational,
intimidating,
right? We got a bunch of reports, emails, pictures from residents in a community, and they said that, this person in this unit keeps smoking. And we said, okay, so we looked at the evidence, it looked credible. Usually people don't report stuff unless there is an issue. Or it's affecting them in some way. In this case, they were smoking on the balcony, so it was going up to the unit above. Mm-hmm. They were smoking inside their unit, so it was going to the unit next door. And it just, smoke gets everywhere. It goes inside windows, it stains the carpet, stains the walls, and you just smell it. So the landlord emails me back and says, I've talked to my tenant, and he promises it's not him. And I said, okay, well, unfortunately, we have multiple accounts from people saying that this guy's smoking.
Right.
And he goes, I'm telling you, it's not him. Push comes to shove, and I finally just say, you know what? Why don't we just go over there and inspect the unit? And he goes, okay, when do you want to be there? I said, I can be there in 15 minutes. Let's go. And sometimes the spot inspections are really great because if they don't know that you're coming and they let you in their house, then you can really see what's going on. We show up to the unit. I meet the property owner. The tenant has no idea that we're coming. We can smell the smoke outside of the unit like 10, 15 feet away from a cracked window. It smelled that bad. We do an inspection around the property, and we can see there's cigarette butts all on the patio. You can see on the stucco going inside the house where he's put out 20, 30 cigarette butts on the gray stucco. You can see where they ashed right on the stucco. We look inside, and there's 5 candles burning. And even that didn't cover up the stench.
Got a seance going on inside the house.
Right?
Yeah, nice.
I always wondered about those smoke removal candles.
Yeah. I think he was buying the wrong brand.
Yeah.
They did not work. So the tenant comes out, and he obviously knows who his landlord is and starts going after his landlord. Like immediately he knows why his landlord's there. Starts just belittling him in front of me, yelling at him, "This is BS. It's not me. You shouldn't be fining me for anything," and just irate and upset. And he looks at me and he goes, I had not received an introduction yet, so this tenant had no idea who I was as the property manager. I'm the HOA manager of this community. And he goes, I'm sorry, sir, for my foul language, but my landlord's driving me nuts with all these smoking things. And I just kind of smiled. I said, it's okay. I'm not going to ruin this opportunity. So he just keeps going after the landlord. And the landlord looks at me and goes, actually, he's the one who is sending the fines on behalf of the homeowners association for your smoking. And his face just immediately went from apologetic to just anger. And he goes, "You're the guy who's doing this." I said, "Well, sir, we don't fine unless people are smoking. I can see the cigarette butts all over. I can smell your unit. We keep going at it." And he's just yelling at me. At one point, he lunges forward like he's going to come after me. Thank goodness for social distancing, because I had a 6-foot head start to back up and get out of his way.
Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro.
He didn't throw any punches, but it could have escalated pretty quick. I kind of backed up and said, "You know what? This is between you and your landlord. We're reporting the violations as is, but as a property manager, you wear a lot of different hats. You wear the policing hat. It was an uncomfortable situation, but I figured it was the easiest way to solve it was just go talk to the people who are actually affected. The emails, the notices going back and forth, they make people upset, and sometimes having that human interaction is good and important for a violation situation. Yeah. And you can at least let them know this is why you're getting the fine. This is the problem.
Yeah.
Well, and essentially with that unit being rented out and the actual homeowner not knowing what the situation is, you're best to bring that homeowner in so that they have an understanding of what's going on, and then they can help take responsibility for it too and get it solved.
Yeah, I'm guessing rather eye-opening for the homeowner at that point.
He was so upset. He believed his tenant.
Sure, right, yeah.
If someone tells you something, generally we believe what people tell us. We don't assume everyone's lying to us or not telling us the truth when they tell us a story. But he believed him, and as soon as he went in the unit, he was upset because you could see the dollar signs clicking through.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Carpet cleaning, paint, it gets expensive.
Did he evict him?
I haven't followed up yet.
Oh, okay.
So, there's been no more reports of smoking, so we'll call that a victory.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good sign.
That's really the thing. With violations, you're just trying to correct the behavior. That's it. It's not personal. We're not picking on you.
Right.
It's just to solve the behavior that is affecting other people's lives in a negative way.
So I had one that was almost like that when I was property manager. I think I failed to mention I was a property manager for about a year. That's because I sucked at it. I was really bad at it. So that's why it only lasted a year. Anyway, but when I was a property manager, I did have a situation. It was a little bit different than that. There was some tenants in one of my HOAs, and it was the same thing. They got accused of smoking, and they say, it's not us, we're not smoking, whatever. And they said, well, we can see you out on the balcony smoking, and you go out on the balcony, and there was a bunch of butts. It actually turned out there was somebody that was jumping up onto their balcony to smoke. Now, it turned out it was a friend of theirs.
Are you kidding me?
No, but I'm serious. The guy was apparently a little challenged, I guess is how we say it. But he was a friend of these people, but he would jump up on their balcony and smoke on their balcony. So I don't.
That's fantastic.
It was hard to tell whether or not they were actually aware that he was doing this or not. I think that they were actually aware on some level that this was happening.
I feel like if you have someone jumping on your balcony, you better be aware of that.
Yeah.
Well,
did he live elsewhere in the community?
He did. He lived in another unit in the community.
He didn't smoke on his balcony.
And they were on the second floor too, which was, it wasn't like, he was like,
scaling buildings.
He was like, he was like doing the little monkey act to get up there and stuff, and then
King-konging it.
Yeah, it was crazy. But they ended up having to talk to him and say, please stop jumping on our balcony to smoke your cigarettes, because we told them, we said, hey, look, it may not be you guys, but you're responsible for your balcony, you're responsible for your property, so you're gonna have to talk to this guy, and they did, and he took his smoking elsewhere. But I just thought I was like, when I first heard that, I'm like, what do you mean somebody's jumping on your balcony? And they're like, yeah, somebody's jumping. That's what they found out, that the guy was jumping on their balcony to smoke the cigarettes. I was like, okay, whatever. So in that case, they can say, wasn't me. See? And they'd be totally fine.
That's when it pays to have video cameras on your property.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
The recording or the documentation of the violation is very important. Super helpful in property management. If they can take a picture or a video or a timestamp email with what's going on, that is crucial for property management, HOA managers, to help patrol or help control the violations. Because people will say, it's not me. It's not me. Until you show them the picture of them smoking. I guess even now, even after you do that, it's not enough.
They still don't.
Yeah.
Still not them.
Now
then they just hide in the leaves.
Try and cover themselves up in the leaves. Yeah. Now we do have a story coming up where maybe you couldn't actually get video, but you can maybe take a sound recording. Before we get to that, we want to mention our sponsor of the show. Sponsor of today's show is homecerts.com, your number one source for resale documents, FHA renewals, reserve studies. Homecerts.com, HOMECERTS.com. All right, as I was talking about just a second ago, sometimes it's not possible to actually get video or photos of the violation, but maybe you can get an audio recording of it. I'm not exactly sure. We got this. We received this from somebody who sent it in, and first of all, thanks to everybody who sent us some emails and some notes and voicemails, all that stuff. This one is we got from a homeowners association, and it's a note that was left on a neighbor's door, and this is how it goes. Please be aware that no one wants to hear you guys doing it with the woman screaming and moaning. Yeah, we all heard it last night. We don't want to hear the kids screaming at all hours. You live in a condo, not a freestanding house. Please start acting like it and respecting those around you. And then they polish it off with a nice little thank you at the end.
That's so kind of them.
Well, I don't understand why the kids are screaming at all hours and the parents are. What are the parents doing that the kids are screaming and not being attended to?
Well, I think we know what the parents are doing. I think we figured that out, what the parents are doing. Clearly not keeping an eye on the kids at the same time.
I think they're playing Monopoly.
Ah, that's what it is.
That game can get pretty intense.
Yes, it can.
Yes.
Yep.
That's that's when I do most of my screaming.
Hotels flying across the room, hitting people in the head. Yeah. There you go. When that boot comes flying at you, that's when you know there's real problems.
Well, noise violations are definitely an issue in homeowners associations, wouldn't you say, Brian?
When you live in close contact with a number of other families, the noise will travel. TV, yelling, even just talking sometimes. You can hear your neighbors talk through the walls. So know your surroundings, know where you live, and keep your volume to a level that stays within your unit.
And apparently you don't want your kids screaming and yelling at all hours of the night either, clearly.
Unless they're winning at Monopoly, right?
Is that what it is?
Yes, they're taunting.
Trash talk.
Trash talking in Monopoly. I got another hotel. Yeah. I guess if worse comes to worse, I guess you can leave them a note. I guess you just leave them a note instead of, confronting them or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. Maybe that's what I want to know. I want to know what was the follow-up on that.
They may have been gifted a large pillow from the neighbors below, too.
Yes. Were they?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
Who
okay.
knows?
Okay, so I guess the bottom line is don't be afraid to go talk to your neighbors. Be neighborly. Be fine about it. If it is a problem that's not being resolved, then you can definitely bring it up to your HOA board. Try and get as much supporting. I don't want to call it evidence. Evidence is probably the wrong word because this is not a court case or anything. But
but I mean, it's evidence.
Okay,
still.
evidence, whatever. Yeah, so it's just factual stuff to support your argument. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, yeah. So, but go to your board meeting. You can present it there, and then the HOA can take care of it if they decide that it's a violation. But your first step is to probably try and work it out amongst yourself. And remember, when you live in an HOA, you do have neighbors. You want to be neighborly. You want to be conscious that there are people around you, and just keep your stuff intact. Keep it buttoned up, so to speak. You know, when the kids. Yeah, that what I just said. Yeah.
Keep it buttoned up.
Keep it buttoned up.
No violations.
That's right. No.
Nothing will happen.
Keep it buttoned up and no violations. That's right. I think we should make a bumper stickers out of that. Keep it buttoned up, no violations. There you go. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, all right. Anyway, the kids start making too much noise, tell them to be quiet. They start practicing their band a little loud, hit them over the head with a drumstick or something, whatever. Anyway, just, be courteous to your neighbors around you.
That's one, though. The noise violations of the kids running up and down the hallway, bouncing a basketball. That's a huge violation that we get a lot of complaints for.
Riding trikes up and down halls, especially if you live in a condo and you have hardwood or tile floors, everyone below you can hear you walking. They can hear you drop things. It's just, it echoes. And so I think it's something that you kind of have to be mindful of, especially when you have kids, and kind of make your kids aware of that. Hey, don't do that. Go outside and play.
Yeah. Even things like vacuuming can be annoying to downstairs neighbors. So just be conscious of when you're doing it and get to know your neighbors and know, hey, this guy works nights or graveyards, or, you know what I mean? Just be a neighbor.
I mean, obviously, you got to vacuum your house.
Right.
Please.
Right. You're
Not
going
at 2
to.
a.m. though.
Yeah, but not at 2 o'clock.
a.m.
Right, exactly. Not at 2 a.m.
Right.
But you do have to vacuum your house. Please vacuum your house.
Yes.
We're not telling you not to, but
No.
but definitely not at 2 o'clock in the morning. That would be helpful to not do that. So, yeah, just being aware. I think that's what it comes down to more than anything else. Just being aware.
Being neighborly.
Oh, thanks, Brian.
You're welcome.
That's so awesome. Being neighborly.
Won't you be my neighbor?
I will.
Oh, my
A
gosh.
quiet one, too.
Now, we've devolved into Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. How did that happen?
We are children. Let's be honest.
There you go. All right, so that's a pretty good talk, a little discussion there about violations and noise violations, to be specific. All right, so we're going to move on to the What the HOA portion of the program. Before we get to that, we got to mention our sponsor for the show. The HOA Show is brought to you by HomeSearch.com, your number one source for resale documents, FHA renewals, reserve studies, instantly downloadable for your convenience. HomeSearch.com, HomeCerts.com. All right, so we're going to move on to the What the HOA portion of the program, and this is basically any sort of craziness, funniness, what fire did you put out this week's story, and this week's story comes to us from Brian.
Yeah, no floods or fires this week, so it was a good week so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
Had an inspection a while back when we were going into a unit to inspect it.
Okay.
Tenants had moved out. Everything looked okay, and the property owner wanted us to bring a black light to inspect the carpeting just to make sure that there weren't any pet stains or other stains on the carpeting. So we go through and we're inspecting the unit. Everything looks great. And then right about where the master bedroom was, you could see the outline. You know, when you move a bed away, there's the foot stains,
Sure.
the oil stains on the carpeting.
Right.
So right on the outside of the left-hand side of the bed, we put the black light over it, and all these little splotches just start glowing like Chernobyl. I mean, we're talking like dime to quarter size circles.
Okay.
I'm going to say 25 to 30 of these things,
Nice.
just in about a 3-foot section, right about where the middle of the bed would have been, middle bed left.
And right about now you're thinking, please let somebody have died in here.
Yes,
Please
let somebody be.
Please let it have been a murder. Please let it have been a murder. Come on.
As the 5 of us are staring at this glowing on the floor, I shout out, I think that's semen. And everyone starts erupting in laughter.
Sure.
Property manager gets on all fours, sticks her nose directly in the middle of one of the splotches. That's not semen.
Oh, no.
Speechless. I was speechless.
Classic.
What did she think it was then if it wasn't semen?
I couldn't concentrate after that point, so I was just laughing. I still think it's semen.
It's a murder. It's a murder. It's a murder. Please be blood. Please be blood. Oh, my gosh.
Next time we're going to bring our microscope and we're going to cut some fibers out and see what we can see in there.
Perfect.
Submit the DNA sample. Is that
Yes.
what's going on?
I would have waited till after the carpeting was cleaned, maybe to inspect it or sniff it. But hey, she wanted to make sure, so she was very thorough.
Was the
good.
black light brought back in after after the carpets were cleaned to make sure this was cleaned up?
No, I
Okay.
didn't feel the need to do that.
Okay, good.
Did
Yeah.
they clean the carpets?
They did clean the carpets.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
yes.
Yeah.
Well,
You never can be too sure.
she is a thorough property manager. You have to
yeah.
give her that.
All right.
Yeah.
Very thorough. Choose your property managers wisely.
That's right.
It's the devil's in the details.
That's
That's totally true.
right. Is your property manager willing to get down on all fours and sniff strange stains on the carpet? If she's not, you're not looking for the right one. Oh, man. That's bad. All right. So that's been our discussion for today. If you want to contact us or check out more information and content from the HOA show, then you can go to our website, and you can also contact us by email. Kelsey, how are they going to do that?
You can find us online at thehoashow.com and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can find links to our socials on our site.
It's thehoashow.com. Is that right?
Correct.
Very good work. Excellent. Okay. Anybody else? Good to go?
Check us out on Instagram and Facebook.
Yep.
Share your audio and video clips.
Very cool. All right.
The louder, the better.
Mary?
I'm
good?
I'm good.
Brian?
No floods or fires yet? I'm great.
Sweet. Kelsey?
Just Andy.
Okay. That wraps it up for today's show. Remember, pray for no floods or fires, and we'll see you next time.
Thank goodness for social distancing because I had a 6-foot head start.
You know, keep it buttoned up, so to speak.
Her nose directly in the middle of one of the splotches.